Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in today to Live with Noel here on LMC TV. Every episode or every season, I should say, I'd like to have somebody interesting on, somebody who, does a lot of things, is involved in a lot of activities, kind of like myself. There's a lot of us out there, right? So let me introduce you to my guest today, Dennis Holden. Dennis, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here.
Glad to be here.
So we kind of met in, I guess, kind of like a funny way through social media, right? It was Twitter.
That's how it works nowadays, right?
Yeah, everybody's meeting online. And I was at the time doing a radio show. You have a show as well that we'll talk about. And you interviewed me first in the green room of my former radio station.
Yes, which was a really fun experience. It was really great audio, really great time.
Yes.
Little hum of the air conditioner in the background. I'll always remember that. But it was a blast.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I want you to tell our viewers, first of all, a little background about yourself, where you're from, and what your career is.
Sure. So I'm from Yonkers. Live in Dobbs Ferry now, lifelong Westchester resident.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's what's cool is I've been doing stand-up for the last 2.5 years or so. And the last 6 months last year, I've gotten to do more stand-up in Westchester, which has been a fun experience. In November, we did the Yonkers Comedy Festival. So we did the live version of my podcast, which I've been doing for over 4 years now. Just celebrated our 4th anniversary in early January. And so I've been doing that for over 4 years now. So we did a live episode and did some stand-up with the Yonkers Comedy Festival. So doing a lot of different things. So keeping busy, which I know you can.
Yeah, I know what it's like. So that's why I think, it's great to meet people who are also super busy and have a million things on their plate. So let's go to comedy first. How did you get into comedy and how'd you know you were funny?
I still don't know if I'm funny. It's something I've always wanted to do. I started the podcast over 4 years ago because I wanted to do it. It's something I wanted to do. Career-wise, wasn't going the way I wanted it to go, so I'm like, let me do this. So I did that for a while, and I always talked about doing stand-up as something I always wanted to do. I did some improv in college a long time ago, and I'm like, I've always something I wanted to do. So I did it, and it went okay. I had 5 or 6 minutes. I did it in 2, so I rushed through it. It was a horrible experience. I'm like, almost never want to do this again. But you kind of need to expand the comfort zone, and that's how I look at stand-up for me. It's not something that I don't know if I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life, but it's something that challenges me, and it allows me to meet new people, try new things, and experience new things because you get a little bit older. It's tougher to do that.
Well, so was it comedy that led you to your podcast, which I want you to tell everybody about that too?
Yeah, so the podcast is called Dennis Has a Podcast. You've been on it once, I think, and I've been on your show once, and now I'm on your show again.
Yes.
So now we have to reciprocate again.
Show,
exactly. So it's comedy, it's pop culture, it's acting, actors, musicians, comedians. It's people that I find that are interesting, doing it and passionate about what they do. I always kind of say that I'll have anyone on my show if they're passionate about what they do. Even if I don't understand it, I can listen to someone talk about ballet for an hour, and I know nothing about ballet. But if they're passionate about it, I'll buy in. So that's kind of what the show has been. And it's been a wonderful experience. We've done well over 400 episodes. We've had over 200 people on the show.
You just celebrated an anniversary.
Yeah, so the 4th anniversary is in January. We did a big show for our 400th episode. In September, we just did a big show for our 4th anniversary at the People's Improv Theater in New York City, which is still a surreal experience to me to have been able to do that. The show's been growing. People know what the show is, which is surreal to me, but just like with you and everything that you do, it's putting the work in, and you see the results from it. And if you're kind and you work hard and you're good at what you do, people buy in and people want to work with you. So that's kind of a big tenet of mine.
Yeah, and you've had so many different guests. I mean, it kind of runs the gamut. Do you want to talk about some of the guests you've had?
Yeah, absolutely. I've had everyone from former Met Paul LaDuca on the show. I had the lead singer of Mr. Big on the show, which is probably the most listened to episode. I had Gary Austin, founder of the Groundling Improv Theater out in L.A., and that had Phil Hartman and Paul Rubens and everyone coming through there. Whether it's sports or wrestling, pro wrestling, which is again a dorky thing, but we're into it. Well, no matter what it is, we're trying to get those guys. We're trying to have fun with it. And I know we've talked about in the past, if Tony Danza, if you are watching this, we're still trying to book him. So that's a goal.
Listen, if you have Tony Danza on your show, you have to let me come and just, sit there and watch. I love Tony Danza too.
Right. It's one of those things that's like it's become a recurring joke of the show. But
he's retweeted.
He's favorited it. I don't know if it's his Pim or his people.
Come on, Tony.
But, he just hosted the San Gennaro Festival in September in the city, and I'm like, I couldn't go. I had previous engagement. I'm like, oh, and my friend saw him and didn't tell me until weeks later. I'm like, come on, you're killing me. But yeah, but it's one of those things that like with the fifth year doing the show, we're trying to book bigger guests and trying to book some different people, being a little more again expanding the comfort zone.
Right.
So that's one of the goals for right now. So. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe we'll get Tony Danza in 2016.
Yeah, you know what? If you can't get Tony Danza, can you get Kevin Bacon, you think?
We'll see. The Bacon brothers are in Westchester.
They are.
Yeah, we'll let them play on the show.
They are. I don't know, like the weird thing with you and Tony Danza, my weird thing is Kevin Bacon.
Do you watch the Happen? What
the
was
Following?
The
Yeah,
Following?
I was totally obsessed with The Following. But, ever since I was like a teenager, there's always been this weird connection with Kevin Bacon. Like, he comes up as my like celebrity love match. He's always somewhere where I go to, like, and I miss him by 5 minutes, and people are like, "Oh, Kevin Bacon was just here," and I'm like, "Am I supposed to meet Kevin Bacon?"
He's in his 50s. He's a good-looking guy. I was just watching the John Stamos show that's on Channel 5.
Yeah.
He's 53 and he looks better than he did 30 years ago.
Listen,
like, what are they doing? What are they doing?
Yeah, I don't know, and I'm sorry to say, the show is not really that great, but I'll watch it for John Stamos. So I want to ask you, too, I know you've done a lot of work in the past with kids, with children, and you've been really passionate with helping them. Any advice to any, teenagers, young people watching about achieving their goals and their dreams?
It's something that I didn't really pursue anything. I did improv in college, really loved doing acting, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go the traditional route. I'm going to go get my degree. I'm going to go get my master's degree.
Where did you get your degree?
My undergrad's in psychology, my master's in counseling, and I'm like, I'm going to go get a job.
I've been there,
yeah, and they tell you, like, you're going to get a job at the end of it. And I come out the other side, and there wasn't a job. And I was just like, I didn't know what to do. And I was, 27, 28 years old, and I'm like, I'm going to do this. And that's not super old, but it's not super young either. I guess what I'll always say is that there's never not an opportunity to do what you want to do. Yeah. One of the cool things with doing my show is that I talk to people that, could be in their 60s or 70s that are still chasing what they love to do.
Right.
And if it's something you're passionate about, something you love to do, and it's something you're sincere about, you just got to go for it. And that's one of the things that I wish I can go back and tell myself 15 years ago. But you know what? I'm in a good place. And I always tell anyone, just chase it, man. Why not?
Yeah, that's great. And I notice your colors. You always kind of have the same colors on, Dennis. Why?
It's always blue and orange because, we're the Mets. And the cool thing, I've been able to do some work with the Mets-related stuff, too. We just did, in January 23rd, so it's kind of right around when this will be up. It's the 2016 Queens Baseball Convention. I'm hosting it for the second year, which is such a surreal experience. Bobby Valentine, former manager of the Mets, Tim Tuffle, players, mascots, people involved with the team, and they allow me to MC, and it's such which is such a great experience. So it's always blue and orange. I don't know if you can see my sneakers, but they're blue and orange too. You got to stay with the theme. I'm not a superhero, but you got to go with the color scheme.
I hear you. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to continue talking to Dennis about your show and also about some of the philanthropy that you do too. So everybody just stay tuned. We'll be right back. I'm back here with my friend and guest, Dennis Holden. He is do you call yourself founder of DAP Show? Or?
The DHAP guy, I guess.
DHAP guy. Okay, all right. I want you to tell everybody how they can tune into your show. How can they listen?
So Dennis has a podcast. You can go to dhapshow.com, dhapshow.com. It's on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio. And on the show, I just say wherever you get podcasts, you can get us. So whatever the app is, you should be able to find us.
Yeah. So for people that are listening, and again, I always bring up young people because I teach at a college. But if they wanted to start a podcast, how hard or how easy is it to do?
I tell everyone that's what they should be doing. It's very easy. There's a lot of steps that you have to do. But it's really not that hard at all. Just a couple of, if you have a microphone and a computer, you can do it now. So it's really simple to do. To get a little bit better, it's a little bit more work, but anyone can do it. Really, anyone can do it.
Yeah. I'm drawing a blank, but maybe you can help me. There's the new, well, not new, but maybe newly popular social media tool that people are kind of going to, and it's maybe you don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm totally drawing a blank. I'll remember eventually. It's where you're on video, but it's live.
Oh,
feed.
Periscope.
Yes, Periscope. Thank you.
Yeah, we just started playing around with it. I do a lot of my stuff via Skype and phone.
Okay.
So you can getting someone in person is very difficult to do, but anyone can call in. And I've gotten a lot of amazing guests on the show that they're not going to trek up to Westchester, but they'll call and give you, half an hour of their time. So Periscope has been a lot of fun. We started playing around with it going into my marathon show at the end of December. But it's fun you get to interact with people on social media. They get the I don't know nearly enough about it. A lot of my comedian friends tell me I need to get more into it, but it's an evolution of the social media craziness that's happening out there.
It is craziness, but it's a good craziness, right?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah. So born and raised in Yonkers, we
Yes.
share that too.
Yes.
I am a Yonkers girl. High school.
See, I went to Dobbs Ferry High School.
Okay.
So I moved when I was
But it's the
like
Westchester.
12 or 13, but
Yeah.
still Westchester, absolutely. Grew up in Napier Park, still, my grandmother's still there, so definitely still have a connection to Yonkers. And, I think, if you're going to promote a show, it's a lot easier to make a sales pitch for Yonkers than the Dobbs Ferry, I think.
All right, I hear you, but we're Westchester's show, so
Of
hopefully
course. Well, again, we love Dobbs Ferry as well.
No, I just hope everybody from Westchester, wherever you live, you're tuning into Live with Noel. And, I know that you have a connection to the Huntington Disease Association.
The Society of America. So I just did this marathon podcast, 26.2 hours in Valley Stream, Long Island. My buddy, one of my comedian friends, his sister has a wonderful coffee shop in Valley Stream. And we did the show live for 26.2 hours straight to raise money and awareness for Huntington's disease. A lot of people, I think more people know of it now than they have in the past.
What is it for those who might not know what the
So
disease is?
Huntington's disease is kind of like a combination of like Parkinson's disease with like ALS. It's like a combination of the two. It's a really devastating disease. My father passed away in relation to that in 2004. So it's been over a decade now. I lost a couple of uncles and members of my family still struggle with the disease.
Is it genetically?
It's a genetic disease. So it kind of stays within the family. I'm fortunate enough to not have it, but it's, I think, another one of the reasons why I am so fervent to want to raise money and awareness for it. So one of the goals was to raise a lot of money and to raise a lot of awareness, and I think we continue to do that. And with what little corner of the world or the internet that I have, why not do some good stuff out of it? And so that's something I was really proud to do and to be a part of.
Yeah, and I'm assuming you'll continue maybe events, other shows.
Yeah, we did a wine tasting in White Plains at Vino 100 a couple years ago. I did the Movember for Huntington's, and I also split it between the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network. So you got to support and you got to do what you can, because it's if you can't do it with money, you got to do it with time and all that other kind of good stuff.
Yeah, no, that's great, and I'm a big supporter of a lot of nonprofits, and that's definitely
believe me,
an important one. So congrats on your work with that too. Now I want to go back and talk about the marathon, because it was 26.2
hours.
Is this like Guinness Book of World Records, or is this like a future plan? Like maybe you'll just I don't know.
That's
do
a good
radio
question.
show for a week or something? I don't know.
It's something I always kind of want. I always want to try something new and try something exciting. So I'm like, we're going to do the show for 24 hours. And everyone's like, all right, great, we're in. And we, immediately we had 25 people that were like, totally in, we're going to do it. And we kind of booked it. I don't know what the number ended up being, but we had dozens of people be a part of it. But a lot of my friends running such a big thing now, not one of my things, but it's a thing out there. So I'm like, you know what? 26.2, a marathon podcast. Well, why not do that? So that's kind of what that ended up being. And it's a little bit of an extra time, a little bit of an extra something a little different. And we got to see what the number is, because the show is Dennis as a podcast. So I don't give myself a lot of leeway to have someone else host for too long a period of time.
Gotcha. Okay, maybe you can do like a co-host kind of.
Yeah, we must continue to talk, Noel,
Yeah,
because
okay.
we need to take something off each other's plates every now and
Yeah,
then.
I know. You're right. You're right. We got a lot of stuff going on. So tell everybody again how they can listen to you and how they can follow you.
So yeah, go to dhapshow.com, dhapshow.com. That's pretty much what the handle is across the stuff. But yeah, you'll get pictures, you'll get episodes, you'll get the iTunes link, you'll get everything you need, more than you need for the show. So check that out.
And how often do you do shows? New shows?
We do probably between 1 and 4 a week. So we probably the last couple of years we've done about 150 episodes a year.
Wow, that's a lot.
So yeah, so it's 150 hours of. I like to say at this point you can listen to the show for 3 weeks straight without interruption. So if anyone wants to do that, we'll get you a T-shirt or something.
And I want to know, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
That's a really great question. I think it's something I keep asking myself. It's one of the questions I keep coming back to because, I've been doing the show for over 4 years now, and it started off as a hobby or just something to alleviate some madness, and now, whether it's TV appearances or radio appearances or doing more stand-up, I don't know. And that's kind of a good thing. But
I think that's a good answer. I don't know.
But
sometimes it's okay not to know where you're
But the
be,
thing
right?
that I love about you, and the reason I keep coming back to you for friendly advice, is that and the advice for, I think, kids as well, is that, like, you know what, you can write whatever you want to write. So don't let anybody else write your story for you. You can write your own story. So I need to keep bothering you for that advice.
Never bother. All right. Well, Dennis, thank you so much for being here today. Before we go, I'm going to give all of our viewers some information on Operation Prom, because I can't let a season go by without talking a little bit about Operation Prom. So it is January, and I want to let everybody know that if you head over to the operationprom.org website, you can register for a free dress or tuxedo. So I want to give everybody a little information about that. We have chapters across the U.S. We're based here in Westchester County. We have offices in New Rochelle. And we have a lot of different events going on that students can sign up for. So they can register online. They do need to be in financial need and passing all of their classes. And then they can attend one of the events in their area to come pick out a free prom dress. So it's a great program. I've been doing Operation Prom since I started it. It's going to be 13 years, 12, 13 years. Sometimes I just lose count. It's been a while. For young men who need a tuxedo, we do have a partnership with the Men's Warehouse, which is great. We provide 2 free tuxedo rentals per high school. So if you're watching this show, if you know a high school senior boy who might be interested in a tuxedo, I suggest speaking to your guidance counselor to recommend you, since we can only do two per high school. If we can do a little bit more, we'll try to squeeze it in. We don't want to leave the guys out. It's hard, but we want to make sure that we get those tuxedos out there. And you can visit, when you go to operationprom.org, if you click on the events tab, it'll give you a list of all the events that we have going on in New York and throughout the country. For Westchester, we'll be at the Westchester County Center. So you definitely don't want to miss that. After the free dress giveaway for high school seniors, we'll also be doing a dress sale that is open to the public, so you want to check the website for all that information too. That's a great way for us to raise money for some of the dresses that maybe weren't picked for prom, maybe not so prom appropriate. So we have dresses for everybody. We have a lot of dresses for younger girls. We have dresses for older women. It's kind of like a variety. We run the gamut of dresses. And I know our viewers can't see, but we have a lot of dresses here right now in the office that are piling up. If you're interested in donating a dress, you can also visit the website operationprom.org and click on the donate tab. We are still collecting dresses. However, we're in severe need of plus size gowns, something that would be appropriate for a 17-year-old to wear to prom. So if you're looking in your closet and you're seeing something that looks like it's formal prom and it's a plus size dress, 16, 18, size 20 and up, we need it. So please contact us or go to the website and you can find one of the drop-off sites. The other thing I want to mention is that we have just launched Fashion U, which is brought to you by Operation Prom. It is a fashion institute based in New Rochelle at our offices. And we are not only offering fashion classes, but we're offering a summer camp this summer. And students can sign up if they're between the ages of 8 and 15. And there are classes in sewing, there are classes in fashion design, there's merchandising, there's how to be a stylist and how to open your own boutique. So it is going to be a fantastic summer here at Operation Prom Fashion U. We're also doing some birthday parties on the weekend. So if your child is interested in a fashion show birthday party, you definitely want to contact us. So I'm going to give everybody that information. They could always go to the website, operationprom.org. You can follow Fashion U Westchester on social media, or you can send us an email at fashionu@helpprom.org. And our phone number is 914-633-1600. And that's the Operation Prom info.
I can't believe you remembered all that.
I can't either. I can't either. Yeah, no teleprompter. But anyway, I want to thank you again, Dennis, for being here today.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. And thank you all for tuning in to Live with Noel. I'll see you next time right here on LMC TV.